Okay, great. All right, well, I see the attendees coming in and we are now live on Facebook as well. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We have a really great program today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dive right in. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Jasmine Alfonso and I'm the manager of City and Community Initiatives with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. We're so excited that you're able to join us for today's webinar series, the Caregiver Community Connection C3, presented by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and powered by our partners at the Wounded Warrior Project. Our goal is to bring military and veteran and family caregivers engaging content on important topics and provide opportunities for peer connection and support. We're also pleased to have the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs as our partners for this series as well. Today's webinar, Let's Talk Texas, the virtual town hall supporting military and veteran caregivers, will feature Carl Dwyer with El Paso County Veterans Program Manager, Linda Mayes, an El Paso caregiver, Ben Miranda from Endeavors, Sean Morgan with the Wounded Warrior Project, Nalita Lewis, who is a certified peer specialist and certified personal resilient mentor, and Annette Dudley, who is the U.S. Department of Affairs Caregiver Support Manager in El Paso, Texas. Before we get started, I wanted to mention to all the attendees that this is a recorded broadcast. We have a lot to cover today, but we'll take questions at the end of the webinar. Today's moderators will be Molly and Jenna. They'll be interacting with you in the chat box. Please be sure to submit any questions you have using the Q&A box located in the Zoom control panel. Molly and Jenna will be taking notes of all the questions to get them answered live during the Q&A portion of today's programming. As an added bonus, we'll be selecting 4 winners during the episodes. Today's winner will receive a $25 Amazon gift card and a Wounded Warrior Project journal. So good luck. For those of us joining through the Facebook Live, through our Hidden Heroes Caregiver Community page, welcome. Please submit any questions you have by commenting on the video, and we will have polls during today's episode, but for Facebook Live participants, you can answer the polls in the comment section of the video. And a recording from today's webinar will be available and shared during after in email. So without further ado, I want to welcome one of our first speakers from El Paso County. El Paso County recently joined the Elizabeth Dole Foundation Hidden Heroes Cities and Counties program. Today, they will share what initiatives the county is going to start working on to support hidden heroes in their community and why the county decided to pass this resolution and partner with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. Our speakers will be Carl Dwyer with El Paso County Veterans Program Manager, Linda Mayes, which is the veteran caregiver representing El Paso County, and will be briefly joined by the El Paso County Judge and the El Paso County Chairman from the Veterans Advisory Board. Now, I'll let El Paso County go ahead and take it away.
Well, good afternoon or good evening, everyone, and thank you, Yasmin, for that excellent introduction. And also thank you for this opportunity to not only talk to Texas, but to talk to veterans and veteran caregivers around the state and also around the country. As you stated, I'm joined today by some very key players here in El Paso County that are dedicated to assisting veterans. We have our county judge, Judge Ricardo Samaniego, our Veteran Advisory Board Chairman, Mr. Mac McCullum, and also Burrell McCullum, I'm sorry, and also our Hidden Heroes caregiver point of contact, Ms. Linda Mayes. Before I get into our slide presentation, I would like to give our judge, the man behind this vision and the reason we have so much support here in the community, I'd like to give the judge a few minutes to make some opening comments. So Judge? Judge, you're still muted. I think they have to unmute you.
Have you been able to do that? Am I okay now? Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Apologize. No, Jasmine, thank you very much. And I'd like to welcome El Paso. We're excited. I mean, we're really excited about our veteran community. We're really working hard at being veteran ready in every dimension. I mean, from just, a lot of things that are happening. We have incredible individuals and organizations like Endeavors that Ben Miranda, Mac, you do an incredible job. Carl, thank you very much for what you do. We're excited. We feel El Paso has done a lot of different things that are really valuable. I think one of the most important that we've done recently is be able to participate in a survey that was done. It was done in different cities, and we happen to have one of the highest number of participants that completed the survey. And we got very excited. We weren't surprised, but excited that we were leading the way into understanding our veterans, and that we weren't guessing or trying to figure out, what is it that the veterans need, and what should we do for them. And I think for a long time, it was more of a guessing game. And I think we're much better off by understanding directly from them what is it that they would like to see. And we're creating a strategic plan to make sure that we understand that and that we fund it properly. Carl is obviously a huge part of this initiative. A lot of my passion comes from losing my brother in Vietnam. He was the first fatality, helicopter pilot, captain in the Army, very successful, graduated from Auburn. And since then, I just always thought about my brother coming back and what would happen and how would he be treated. And didn't have that opportunity, but that has been a tremendous passion for me and our family. Every time I get to recognize him, it eases some of the pain of losing him. I was 15 years old, and I was the one that received the notice about being missing in action, and a week later that he had died in Vietnam. So just a very difficult situation, but I've always said, don't ever allow anybody to die in vain, and I will not allow my brother to die in vain without that impetus in our community that it's going to be a much better community because he's given me this opportunity, this passion to lead the way, and of course have amazing people. One of the amazing people that we have is our hidden hero, Linda Mace. Linda, if there's veterans and they're in need, Linda's there. And I don't think there's more something that we could do so directly to help a veteran than to be a caregiver. Because if they're receiving care, it means they're in a very difficult situation, and that they've been exposed to so many more things, and then to be exposed to not being able to take care of themselves properly or have someone to help them through the process. So I'm very, very encouraged by our hidden hero and Linda. I know she's a very amazing person and will be very instrumental. We did create, we're very excited, the first initiative that I had, and Linda was a big part of that, and so a lot of other individuals like Ben and Mac, and was that we had a Veterans Wall of Honor. And when we did, we honored all the different missions that have taken place. I mean, all the way back from the Spanish War, kind of, we wanted to show that every mission meant something, and that all of them contribute and end up to where we are at this point in time. We are who we are as a country, and everything that we could do and everything that's happening is because our veterans gave us that freedom, gave us that opportunity, defended our country, died for us, and are wounded for us, and are still having to go through a very difficult time. So once again, I mean, just very, very proud of this program, very proud of how El Paso can contribute. El Paso is a beautiful community that comes together. We saw that with the refugees, as we have thousands a day that came through, and our community was here. We're about to go into our first anniversary of a tragedy that just so heartfelt. It's just difficult to even think about. 23 of our community residents dying, along with several from Juarez, that was representative of this community. So we're here. There was veterans that were killed. One in particular that went to my high school that was killed at Walmart. And so they continue to suffer, continue to be challenged, and very excited. And I hope that El Paso welcomes every opportunity, every initiative, everything that we could do. We'd love to be a role model, Jasmine, a role model for the rest of the country of what this program can do, and the satisfaction of being able to know that we care for our veterans. I've always said veteran ready community, because I said one time, I said veteran friendly, and someone said veteran friendly is sitting down with a veteran and having coffee. Veteran ready really shows that it doesn't matter what dimension. It's not only to bring someone to where they need to be, it's also catapulting veterans into where they can be much more successful. We have a great program with Fort Bliss. We're working with them where before they actually leave the Army, they're able to work in our community, and hoping that they will stay. Veterans bring so much to our communities, their experience, their talents, but one of the most important thing is their leadership. And you could see that leadership in individuals like Carl. Carl brought amazing, I mean, when he stepped into this program, he just took over. And everything about him as a veteran, every trait of a veteran came forth and has become a great role model in our community. So once again, thank you very much. Welcome to El Paso. Let's keep our focusing on what we can do for veterans. We owe it to them now, and we owe it to them in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Judge, and thank you for the kind words about what we're doing here. And thank you for the support and leadership that you give to all of us within the community and across the county. I'm going to try to go through our slides pretty quick because I know we are on a time schedule, and I like to respect everybody's time. So to start with, here in the El Paso County, our Veterans Assistance Office, the major thing I'd like to let everybody across Texas know that just about every county has a Veterans Assistance Office that is there to assist veterans with anything that they may need assistance with. If it has to deal with their benefits, their education, disability claims, funerals, memorials, or just information. So I'd ask and encourage every veteran or veteran caregiver out there to look up, research, and connect with the Veterans Assistance Office that's within your county. Again, every county is represented, and these people are there free of charge to assist veterans and to assist them in maneuvering what can sometimes be a very complicated system. We're not a part of the VA, but however, we work hand in hand with the VA to make sure that veterans and veterans families get everything they need. One of the things Judge touched on, and I want to also give him a chance to make a few remarks, and he and his team are going to work very closely with our Hidden Heroes caregivers, is Mr. Burrell McCullum. Mr. McCullum is the current chairman of our Veterans Advisory Board. So I'd like to turn it over to him, and he'll be followed by our guest and speaker of honor, Ms. Linda Mays, who's going to represent our community in this fabulous program. So I'll turn it over to you, Mac, and we'll be followed by Linda, and we'll be followed after that by Endeavors. So thank you.
Like I said, thank you, Carl, and good afternoon. We at the Veteran Advisory Board, Paso County, is very excited and over the hill about having Linda Mays on board and the Hidden Heroes program here at Paso County. One thing about the Paso County Advisory Board, we are instructed and appointed by the commissioners and the county judge to advise them on issues of veterans in the county, and also identify veteran gaps in services. And having the Hidden Hero program, especially in collaboration with Linda, it will help us tremendously to see the gaps in service and stuff from the veteran caregiver side of the equation. And secondly, one of the things that the judge talked about was our assessment we did. One thing we found out when assessment, it was a big need for peer support groups, and not just for veterans, but veteran caregivers as well. So having a healing program here will also help to eliminate that gap to where we can have peer support groups also eye in the ear for what the caregiver side of what they need. And with that said, and with Linda helping us and being a focal point for us to give us that insight would be great. So at this time, I'll go ahead and have Linda speak.
Hi, Linda, we can't hear you. Linda, try again. We're having trouble hearing you. You're unmuted. Go ahead. Check the sound on your computer. If Carl, if you can jump back on and start to talk these slides through while we work on Linda's audio, that'd be great.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, again, Linda Mays is one of our go-getter veteran caregivers out there. So when we, decided to join this program and sign a resolution to enact this, Linda was the first name that came to mind. We actually, the judge in our county court and the county commissioners signed a resolution on the 18th of May, and we started the program. The slide in front of you lists, what the Hidden Heroes program considers a military caregiver. You're a caregiver if you manage medication, coordinate medical appointments, provide emotional or physical support, assist with activities of daily living, and advocate for proper treatment. Those are all very important things that we feel that in our community, those heroes and angels that are providing that support need to be recognized. Our upcoming events and initiatives, COVID-19 has kind of hindered some of the things that we'd like to do in person and face-to-face. But here pretty soon, we're just like this event, virtual events, we're going to be reaching out to the community to connect with those caregivers across our county to, one, introduce them to the program, get them registered in the program, find out who they are. And just like the needs assessment did, we want to talk to them and hear their voice as to what gaps we have in the community and how we can help fill those gaps and what we can do. And we're also going to try to get as many registered caregivers across the county as possible. We've established a dedicated email address. It's at the bottom of the slide. It is ephcountyhiddenheroes@gmail.com. So if you'd like to reach out to Linda and the program, just reach out to that email if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you know of any caregivers who maybe not on this call or this session, but just please help us spread the word so that we can reach out and get involved and how those folks get involved. And whether you're in El Paso County or not, if you're in Texas, come one, come all. So reach out to us and we will do our best to put you in contact with the people that can provide that assistance, because no veteran and no veteran caregiver should feel like they're alone as they're going through this process. So with that being said, again, Yasmin and the foundation, we want to thank you for this opportunity. It is a great opportunity to have our voices heard here in the great state of Texas. And we look forward to moving forward and everything we can do with this program and this initiative. So again, thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to questions at the end, and I'll be followed by another great American, Mr. Benjamin Miranda from the Stephen A. Cohen Clinic at Endeavors.
Awesome. Well, before I'll go ahead and introduce Ben here, I just wanted to say again that we will be providing Linda's information after this in our follow-up email with that email address that Carl spoke about. Linda is having some audio issues, but I assure you her enthusiasm for wanting to work with you all is there, and she is dedicated to this. So we'll work on that on the back end, but just be aware we'll be sending that contact information over to you all so that you can reach out to Linda, as she's excited to work with all caregivers within the Texas area. So thank you very much. Our partnership with El Paso County has already taken off. We're super excited to continue this partnership with them. The county, as you can see, is super motivated to continue this work and to supporting military and veteran caregivers. So we thank you for that. Our next speaker, Ben Miranda with Endeavors. Endeavors actually helped, as Carl noted, set this up for us to start working with El Paso County. So he'll be able to share more with you what Endeavors is doing and what they're doing for veteran and military families. So I'll let you go ahead and take it away, Ben.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share this great information on how Endeavors continues to serve our veterans and our families as a whole. So one of the things that I wanted to share is Endeavors is a nonprofit organization, and we've been proudly serving our communities for 51 years. We are headquarters out of San Antonio, Texas, but we provide many community services in communities throughout the state of Texas, in North Carolina, in Florida, and in Puerto Rico. But specifically today, I wanted to focus on some great programs that Endeavors focuses on providing for veterans and their families in the great state of Texas. The first program that I wanted to talk to you about is our supportive services for veterans and families. So we're proud to be one of the largest service providers for the SSVF program here in the state of Texas. And what do we do with supportive services for veterans and families? Through this program, we provide rapidly rehousing and prevent homelessness amongst our veterans and their families. We offer one-on-one case management services. And what we do is Endeavors helps veterans obtain VA benefits and services as well as other public benefits. In addition to that, Endeavors also provides resources to mental health services, substance abuse programs, and emergency financial assistance for rent and facilities to enhance independent living skills for very low-income veterans and families. We're proud to say that through our supportive services for veterans and families, we've served over 900 veterans. And then in addition to that, over 600 family members of veterans. And we've assisted individually over 500 homeless veterans and over 170 women veterans. One key factor that I want to make sure that everybody knows about Endeavors is that out of the veterans that we help, 85% of them continue to have sustained housing, even after 6 months of exiting our program. And that's due to the great case management that we provide to our caregivers in our military families and veteran families with all our programs. Next slide, please. Thank you. In addition, Endeavors also has a phenomenal partnership with the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinics. So through the Cohen Veterans Network, we focus in providing care to veterans and military families. And what we do is through 3 clinics that we have in the state of Texas, we have one in El Paso, one in Killeen, and one in San Antonio, but that doesn't prevent us from not taking care of our caregivers throughout the whole entire state of Texas through telehealth services. Through this program, through the great partnership of the Cohen Veterans Network and Endeavors, what we do is we provide high quality, accessible, and integrated mental health care for veterans and their families. And this is important to note. We provide these services regardless of role, whether it's an honorable discharge, dishonorable discharge, other than general discharge, and also without considering the ability to pay. So not being able to pay for services is not a barrier for a veteran or their family member to receive services from us. So one unique thing in addition to our services through the military family clinics is the veteran gets to define who their family is. We will see the spouse of the veteran, the caregiver of a veteran, the children of the veteran, the siblings of the veteran, the boyfriend, girlfriend, or partner of a veteran. It doesn't have to be a blood-related veteran. If the veteran tells us that this veteran specifically focuses on the livelihood of this other individual, we will provide our mental health services for that veteran and that family member as defined by the veteran. We collectively, one of the things that we pride ourselves to is that throughout our 3 clinics, 49% of our clients are veterans, 51% of our clients are family members. So we have a big focus in not only taking care of our veterans, through providing quality and accessible mental health care, but also to provide quality services for their families as well. Next slide, please. And the last slide, and the last information that I wanted to talk about is we are proud. We are opening, Endeavors is opening a first of its kind Veteran Wellness Center. There's no other center like this throughout the United States. We're having our grand opening in the spring of 2021. And through this Veteran Wellness Center, as you can see the beautiful rendition here on this slide, it's going to be a state-of-the-art center where we're going to be focusing on to ensure that our veterans and their families and caregivers are focused through the 6 principles of wellness. Through this center, our veterans and caregivers and their families are going to be able to provide, we're going to be able to provide them services that are focused on mind and body, connectedness, spiritual, environmental, economic, and knowledge. We know that Texas has the largest population of veterans of any state in the United States. So what we're going to do is we're going to be providing statewide services to our veterans at low to no cost. And we're going to be offering these services virtually as well. Now, if someone's able to pay, then payment will be based on the veteran family financial situation. But again, not being able to pay is never a barrier. Members will have access to integrated health, mental health care, holistic activities, including acupuncture, yoga, tai chi, as well as a large state-of-the-art fitness center. So it doesn't stop there in San Antonio, because our vision through Endeavors is to also duplicate this Veteran Wellness Center into other communities within our Texas communities. But nonetheless, until we have a brick and mortar somewhere else within Texas, veterans and their families and caregivers can take advantage of the programs that we're going to be offering in this Veteran Wellness Center through the virtual programs. So in conclusion, we provide, and we're the largest SSVF provider in the state of Texas. We also pride ourselves in having that wonderful partnership with the Cohen Veterans Network in managing and operating 3 clinics in the state of Texas, in Killeen, El Paso, and in San Antonio, where we provide high quality and accessible evidence-based mental health care for the veteran and the families as defined by the veteran. And then lastly, we're proud and honored to be opening this one-of-a-kind, first-of-its-kind Veteran Wellness Center, where we're going to be taking care of the veteran and the whole entire family. Thank you very much, and thank you for this opportunity. And I'm so proud that Hidden Heroes is part of El Paso, and El Paso is part of Hidden Heroes. And I can't wait to continue to collaborate with this great organization, and I can't wait to see what other things we get to do throughout our state of Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you for that. Awesome. Great. Well, we appreciate the role Endeavors is taking to reach caregivers and families, and for helping sign on El Paso County. Our next speaker is going to be Sean Morgan with the Wounded Warrior Project. Sean serves as the Regional Director of the Wounded Warrior Project in Texas. We appreciate all the support the Wounded Warrior Project has done to make this series possible, and its partnership with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. Through our partnership with the Wounded Warrior Project and the Elizabeth Dole Foundation Dole Caregiver Fellows are able to have support to create impact-driven and educational initiatives throughout their communities, and while connecting and working together to reach more military and veteran caregivers. We thank the Wounded Warrior Project for this partnership. Now I will let Sean go ahead and take it away with some of those resources that are available. Sean, you should be unmuted now, ready to go.
All right. Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon. And thank you to the Elizabeth Dole Foundation for being such a great partner and hosting events like this. And it's great to see Endeavors on here. They're actually just a mile down the road. And they have been a great partner as well in El Paso and here in San Antonio. So next, on the next slide, as Yasmin mentioned, my name is Sean Morgan, and I am a part of the alumni team that supports Wounded Warrior Project here in the state of Texas. So to start off, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Wounded Warrior Project, what our eligibility criteria is, and how to get registered. So we have 2 ways to get registered with Wounded Warrior Project. So that is the warrior themselves, who is a veteran that served post 9/11 and has a physical or mental injury, wound, or illness that is directly related to your military service on or after September 11th of 2001. And this can either be in garrison or in a deployed environment. And that's something that gets confusing, is we do come across a lot of people that do not think they are eligible for Wounded Warrior Project. So you didn't have to deploy. So that's a pretty big factor there. The second way to get registered with Wounded Warrior Project is family support. That's why we're on this call right now, to talk about the caregiver support in the great state of Texas. So just as veterans are eligible, all family support members that provide direct support to a wounded warrior are fully eligible to receive all the programs and services free of charge through Wounded Warrior Project. And it's very simple to register. You can register online at woundedwarriorproject.org or call our resource center at the number below. And we also require, verification of service-connected injuries and your military service. So anything as ED 214, your ERB, VA rating letters, and et cetera, is all you need to get registered. So next slide, Yasmin. All right, so Wounded Warrior Project in Texas. So we currently have 3 teams that are located in San Antonio, Houston, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Our San Antonio team covers Southwest Texas to include Austin, Killeen, El Paso, and the Rio Grande Valley area. So if you're in that area, I encourage you to register. I've also added the alumni manager, Tim Horton, whose team is responsible for getting out, getting warriors and their family members registered, and hosting engagement opportunities and building community partnerships. So our next team in Texas is in Houston. Our Houston team does a great job of serving the Houston area, Waco, Galveston, and East Texas. So same thing, if you're interested, please reach out to Zach Hunt, who is the alumni manager for that area. Next, we have Dallas-Fort Worth. So Dallas gets to serve the DFW Metroplex, Lubbock, and the Texas Panhandle, as well as Oklahoma. And Kevin Gallagher is the alumni manager responsible for that. So if you look to the side of there, we have something called the Post. So Wounded Warrior Project hosts events daily. And just in August, we were going to have 83 virtual and face-to-face events for free of charge, once again, to alumni and family support members to connect and engage with other people throughout the country. So the Post comes out every Thursday to anybody that's registered with Wounded Warrior Project, and you simply can scroll through. All kinds of resources are in there, such as the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, employment opportunities, any other virtual resources, and sign up for events. As was mentioned in El Paso County, Wounded Warrior Project also has peer support groups throughout the state that have moved to virtual operations that still continue to come together for like-minded individuals to share their experience, that bond of engagement. Next slide, yes. Thank you. And at Wounded Warrior Project, we have lots of programs and services to keep you engaged, keep you active. First is through the Connection, which is our alumni team. We host events. We have everything right now from virtual painting to model building to cooking classes that we've been doing on Facebook Live. And once again, you would register through the Post for those activities. We also have our center. So many of you are familiar with Military One Source. Same thing, you can call into our resource center that's located in San Antonio or Jacksonville. They can get you connected and referred to any Wounded Warrior Project programs or teammates. And if we do not have that program internally, we will definitely get you referred out to another resource that can help you. And as I mentioned, our peer support is a part of that. We also offer opportunities in physical wellness to include our PH&W summits that focus on adaptive training, nutrition and wellness, as well as our soldier ride. We have the Independence Program, and I think this is something that really falls into the category of our partnership with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, is that this program is to help our severely wounded provide in-home services and continuation of care for the rest of their life. We also have mental wellness programs that focus on couples communication, experiential learning on our Project Odyssey for PTSD recovery, and our WWP Talk, which offers a program where you can call in and do monthly basis check-in calls with Wounded Warrior Project teammates. And we also have career and benefits counseling to help you with your VA benefits, and our Where is to Work program, which can help you find a job, which is very important right now with furloughs and layoffs that are going off in the current pandemic environment. Oh, and the last thing that I would like to mention, over the last year, Window Warrior Project has been heavily with pushing some legislation and doing some lobbying in DC. And we're proud to announce that last week, the Senate and the House approved a bill, the Ryan Cools and Paul Benny Specially Adaptive Housing Act 2000, and that is waiting to be signed by the president. So if you fall into this category and would like to know more about the new Adaptive Housing Act and how you can qualify to receive additional funding, please reach out to the Window Warrior Project and we'll get you connected to the benefits service. So in closing, I want to say thank you to all the caregivers that are on the call today for what you do on a daily basis. And thank you to the Elizabeth Dole Foundation.
Thank you so much, Sean. We appreciate that. So we are a little bit over halfway through here. So what I wanted to do is launch a poll here. So we have 2 polls that we're launching. So please, for those attendees, go ahead and fill these polls out. The first one is, where do you go to find veterans and military caregiver information and resources? That poll is up now. And then, what are the best means to communicate resources and information to the military and veteran community? So we'll just go ahead and leave that poll out. And then I also am going to announce some winners here for the $25 Amazon gift card, and we are also giving away the Wounded Warrior Project Journal. So we have Janet Sanchez, Monique Rodriguez, Denise Hodge, and Ashley Rubble. So Jenna and Molly will be reaching out to you in the chat to get your information so that we can send you those prizes. So we're going to go ahead and continue on here to our next presentation. So I'm just going to pull this up quickly here to introduce. It's going to be Nalita. So one moment. Okay. All right, so I'm pulling this up here now to introduce our next speaker. Okay, great. So introducing Nalita Lewis, who is a caregiver herself and a caregiver peer mentor. She's going to be sharing about her journey and how she has really started to create a coalition of military and veteran caregivers within Texas and what you can do to get involved. I'll let Nalita take it away.
Thank you, Jasmine, for the wonderful introduction. Can you guys hear me? Am I unmuted?
You're good, you're good. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you again, Jasmine, for the wonderful introduction. I like to describe tenacity as thriving in chaos. It was a skill learned over many years. My first in tenacity and resilience started in Chicago. I'm the second of 4 girls, and my dad is the original girl dad. He was tough on us, always reminded us if we don't like something, then change it, but don't complain. And my mom always made sure to let us know that we had a voice. Fast forward, I met my husband in 2001, married in 2002. And as many of you new military wives, I was in bliss. I thought I was going to be able to travel the world and experience different foods and cultures, and that wasn't the case. The day after Christmas, during one of our visits to meet my in-laws, he received a call with orders to return to Fort Bliss, and he was being deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. That trip was short-lived as we were on the next flight home. The next 12 to 15 days, he spent with his unit preparing to leave, and on January 12, 2003, he was deployed to TWA. I stayed busy working, and on my spare time, I volunteered with the FRG leader and was able to provide community to keep the families engaged and informed. My husband returned from war with invisible wounds, and I didn't even know how or where to begin to understand that. Anthony was med-boarded in 2005 and struggled with transitioning into the civilian sector and struggled to find his new normal. We spent from 2005 to 2011 battling addictions, battling mental health. He had invisible wounds, and I didn't know how to help him. We had 2 teenagers at home. One was acting out and displaying signs of secondary PTSD, but at the time I didn't even know that. And the second one was slowly becoming the secondary caregiver, as he was the oldest at home and mom needed help. At the end of 2011, things had completely spiraled out of control, and I chose to end my career as a medical consultant to maintain home life. A new battle began, figuring out the VA system, the benefits. He had 10% disability, and now we had to how to file the claims and contact the Social Security Administration. It was not easy, and keeping a notebook with everything I learned, from DAV, PSOs were, I didn't even know what those letters stand for, but I wrote it down. Everything that I thought would be helpful, I wrote it down. In 2012, I was given the title of caregiver, and if I was given a new diagnosis, and so I started researching it. I started looking for resources, and at the time, this was 2012, there was not much available. I was still trying to advocate for my health, trying to get all the doctors to coordinate his care, and was quickly becoming a bit salty, and I was hitting too many brick walls. And all I could hear was my dad say, if you don't like something, change it. And I knew I had a voice. I remember signing up my husband for the Wounded Warrior Project. And a few weeks later, calling them and trying to find out where we were with the registration and asking them about the programs. I remember it was a Wednesday afternoon, and as I was on my call, there was a lady, Shelly, who was a caregiver program coordinator, who had jumped in his office and stated that there was a cancellation for some retreat on Friday. And so the gentleman jumped on the phone and said, what are you doing this weekend? And before I could answer, I already arrived in Corpus Christi retreat. I thought this retreat was going to teach me some more skills to help care for my husband. And one of the volunteers asked me if I was okay. I guess my vibe was off. And I answered, look, I just want to get started so I can write down what else I can do to support my husband. And she looked at me and she said, no, dear, this is not for that. This is for you. This is for you to get away from the day-to-day stresses and enjoy a weekend of pampering, to support you and give you those skills. I could not have it. It made me feel like I finally mattered. I spent the next 2.5 days with these spouses and caregivers, and I started asking questions, writing down resources, writing down terms. There was so much, and my books were getting filled. This was empowering to be receiving other caregivers. I went home and I decided I have to share this information with other caregivers. And that's how I came up with the community page on Wounded Warrior Peer Mentor, where I share a lot of the information. I wanted to share everything in hopes it would make it easy for another caregiver. I also remember how good it felt to get pampered and have girl talk and share stories with other caregivers. When I started connecting and caregivers, I noticed that many had gone through similar challenges at one point or another. I decided to start organizing peer-to-peer support groups. I didn't have the money. I didn't have to back it up. I just started building relationships with the community, advocating for care, cultivating those relationships with local businesses and organizations. Once the businesses and contributors recognized who we were, they started to donate the meeting space, the food, door prizes, and their time. This has allowed us to evolve. We organize an annual caregiver relaxation day where 75 caregivers are given free spa day services. We also want to thank the caregivers and let them know how important they are, to remind them that they, without their time, without their care, without the knowledge of how to help and support our system, overwhelmed having to care for our veterans. So we must continue to remind and support the caregivers. And we do this here locally by organizing an annual caregiver appreciation dinner where we honor local caregivers. For the last 5 years, PASO County Commissioner David Stout has presented us with a resolution to continue to support us. These events help caregivers with time. It also allows us to get to know these hidden heroes in communities and allows us to connect, to hear the stories. We all have a story. Building networks of caregivers across the country is empowering. We can brainstorm things of the minds and share some of these resources and help meet that need, in turn helping the warriors. This past March, when we went into quarantine, we didn't know how long it would be before we leave in-person meetings. So with the support of the Hearts of Valor and Veteran Spouse Network, I was able to organize these virtual weekly chats and these chats have been instrumental in providing opportunities for caregivers to network. Sharing some of these stories, struggles, challenges, help others understand, and sometimes another caregiver will jump in and share that she too might have a similar experience, and now they're sharing tools of what helped. Hearing it from another veteran caregiver, another military wife, another military mother is empowering. Having virtual events, we're not only able to connect local caregivers, but now we're connecting caregivers that might not have access to local events in their area. And now they can log on virtually from anywhere in the country and feel supported. What started as a general coffee chat are now topic-based chats about resiliency, taking care of ourselves, manage stress, simple to be happy. We now have guests like Ms. Barbara McNally, of the Warrior Wounded Wife, and we've had live cooking shows. This Thursday, I'm so proud to announce, I will be facilitating a 4-week series of virtual resource fair, where over 25 nonprofit organizations will be joining me in sharing resources. The organizations will provide us with information on their programs, who qualifies, what the eligibility requirements are, and how one applies. But most importantly, at the end of that expo, the caregivers will have a contact at these organizations to connect and ask questions. My mission since 2012 has remained the same. I am here to provide resources to support and empower PASO caregivers across the country, veterans, and their families. We also are working on Spanish chats, and all these events are listed on the Veteran Spouse Network, and these chats are free to all spouses and caregivers of all era veterans. If you're a caregiver, I encourage you, if you're needing support, if you're wanting to connect, you can email me at www.purementor@gmail.com. I will do my best to help you. And if I don't have the answer, believe me, I know somebody who does. There are so many caregivers across the country who are movers and shakers, and they're making moves.
Thank you so much, Nalita. We appreciate that. And I think your resiliency and what you were able to accomplish really shows when caregivers come together, the possibilities are really endless. So we appreciate you taking the time. And just as a reminder, we'll send Nalita's information as well as our other speakers so that all of our attendees can be able to contact them. So I'm excited to announce our last final Save the Best for last year. We have our VA Caregiver Support Program Manager here from El Paso, Texas, from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, Annette Dudley. Annette, you can go ahead and start speaking as I go ahead to pull up your slides here for you. Annette or Gina, are either of you on the line? Okay, Gina, are you on the line?
You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so that's weird. I had to do it both on the computer and the phone. Okay, well, good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity, Hidden Heroes and the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, and thank you for the previous presenters. I learned a lot. It's wonderful that there are so many resources available for all of our veteran caregivers in this community. This presentation that I'm going to do this afternoon for Texas caregivers is really directed at what the VA healthcare system can provide for caregivers. It's a very brief overview, and I encourage you guys to contact your local caregiver support coordinator for more extensive information. So I am the program manager here at the El Paso VA Caregiver Support Program. What is the Caregiver Support Program at the El Paso, at the VA healthcare system? It's a primary VA program providing support and services for caregivers of veterans. It actually consists of 2 programs, and most people don't know that a lot of times when we speak to them, is that we actually have the Program of Comprehensive Assistance for Family Caregivers, which is the PCAFC, and then the Program of General Caregiver Support Services, which is the PGCSS. That program has a coordinator at most facilities in Texas. Currently here in El Paso, we have a coordinator for that program, Ms. Gina McHugh. How do they differ? Well, they differ. There is some, the PGCSS supports caregivers of enrolled veterans of all eras by providing education, by providing education, resources, and other supportive services. The program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers is for eligible veterans who incurred or aggravated a serious injury in the line of duty on or after September 11, 2001. Next slide, please. So what can the program of general caregiver support services provide for all caregivers right now? Well, it provides information, referrals for the veteran to in-home or supportive services, as well as the caregiver resources, education and training on how best for the caregiver to care for themselves and for the veteran, peer support to learn from and gain support from other caregivers, mental health counseling if needed. The nice thing about this program is there is really no eligibility other than if the caregiver wants to be enrolled and they do they care for the veteran, they can be enrolled. There's no formal application. There's no anything. All they need to do is contact their local caregiver support coordinator and say, I'm caring for a veteran and I'd like to be enrolled in the program. Next slide, please. So the program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers is a program that is for eligible veterans who have incurred or aggravated a serious injury in the line of duty on or after September 11, 2001. So what do they provide for the primary family caregiver? There is a monthly stipend that's paid directly to the caregiver. There's access to health insurance if the caregiver does not already have their own health insurance, mental health counseling if needed, and also certain beneficiary travel benefits when traveling with the veterans if they have to go to appointments, say out of town, need to get a flight, the beneficiary travel. And then also the big thing is the 30 days or more if needed for respite care. And respite care is short-term relief for someone else to come in and care for their veteran while you take a break. Next slide, please. So what support can all family caregivers of all eras access right now? So the Caregiver Support Program has a full range of education supportive services to caregivers of all enrolled veterans through our General Caregiver Support Program. And that's the program that requires no application, no formal application. The Caregiver Support Coordinators are located all throughout the state of Texas on the VA Caregiver website, which is listed here. You can go in there, click on the right-hand side, and it'll say what state. You can click on that state, and you can find your local caregiver support coordinator in your zip code. Then you can contact that local caregiver support coordinator. Or if you don't have access to a computer or you don't want to do it that way, you can contact the caregiver support line toll-free to learn more about the VA caregiver support program. Next slide, please. And that's a very brief overview. There's a lot more to the program, but the bottom line is that there is a support available to caregivers of all eras, of all veterans. There is a program that goes a little step further that provides a stipend award, and that requires an application, and the veteran has to be eligible. But we can provide support to those caregivers of all eras right now through the General Caregiver Support Program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Annette. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here today. I know there were some Zoom technology issues, but through it all, we were able to have you guys here, and we so appreciate you guys taking the time to be here and to talk to our community for those who don't know about the VA Caregiver program and what's available to them. We have a lot of questions coming in here. I know we're running short on time, so we are going to go ahead and extend this webinar by a few minutes to get to some of these great questions that we have coming in here. Okay, great. So one of our first questions coming in here, and I will say all panelists, you can feel free to unmute yourselves. Any of these questions are not specific to each one of you. So if you guys have a resource or answer to those Q&A, please feel free to jump in. So our first question here, do you have any professional advice for caregivers who are looking to make connections with their local judges in government. And this is a group that's so well connected. How can other caregivers make a positive change within their city and county? This might be a good one for Carl to answer in regards to how caregivers can get involved, similar to what El Paso was able to do. Do you have a good answer for this, Carl? How can others get involved with their county, judges, and local government?
Yes, can you hear me, Yasmin, everyone?
Ian?
Yeah, I would say just that every county government, like our county here, has a weekly commissioners court every Monday, and that's open to the public. Of course, currently it's being conducted, virtually. But I'd say if as an involved or interested citizen, sign up to connect with your commissioner's court, which is city council. Participate during the discussions. There's always an open citizen comment period that you can call. There's also, Facebook, social media. Many of our court, our judge itself, they're very approachable. Reach out to them and connect, via social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, the town hall sessions. COVID-19 has placed some restrictions on us, but in some ways it has really opened us up to be able to even be more connected in virtual environments and things of this nature. Veteran advisory boards, we have one here. I'll give Mr. McCullum and our judge a chance to chime in on this one also. But there are more than, just reach out, connect with organizations like everybody that's on this call. And if you can't get in touch with them, I'm pretty sure the organizations that are out there like Wounded Warrior Program, the Red, White, and Blue, they know how to get in touch with those political leaders. Judge, did you want to? I think you got to unmute yourself there, Judge.
Thank you. No, Carl, thank you. There are so many ways, and I thank you for including Commissioner's Court, because there's so much information that we go through during the day, and also the opportunity for public comments. And so once again, Carl, just thank you for keeping things moving forward, and also for giving us the opportunity to participate. But whatever we could do, like I said, we want to be a role model, and we need to understand what we could do as a county, and that will allow other counties then to follow the lead. And then so if we could participate in any way, become a reference to other counties that are interested in participating in these programs, I would be more than glad to be part of that process.
Okay, great. Any other comments from El Paso County? No? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, I have just a quick one. And what I would also say is I encourage them to see if the county does have a veteran advisory board. If they don't have a veteran advisory board, just like the county judge and Carl said, kind of those individuals, or might request your commissioners to develop an advisory board to help with those veteran issues and stuff, to be the conduit for the contact between the veterans and the advisory board. That's what we do here at PASO.
Okay, perfect. This next question is for Endeavors. How can we get involved with Endeavors down the road possibly, and bring something like this with what you're doing with the Endeavors, with the Wellness Center, with your connection with counties? How can they start working with Endeavors?
Thank you for the question. So one of the things that could get started, anybody can reach, go to our webpage, endeavors.org, and they can find more information of where we're at servicing our veterans and families throughout our communities. In addition, if anybody has any questions or wants to have a follow-up one-on-one and discuss on how they can get involved with Endeavors, they can email me at B as in Bravo, Miranda, MIRANDA, @endeavors.org, bmiranda@endeavors.org. And I'll be more than happy to make that connection and have a further discussion on how organizations or communities can get involved with Endeavors.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Jenna and Molly, if you guys can note that in the chat box as well. And also we'll be sending everyone's contact information. Again, in an email. So we'll make sure to get that Endeavors information over to you. Our next question here is, I am a retired Air Force vet that has been awarded guardianship of my 33-year-old autistic niece, and I need some help. I'm in Houston. I'm having trouble getting assistance. I've reached out to local agencies. Please help. Have been quarantined at home since March, and we're getting a little anxious looking for resources. Any recommendations here from the group where we can lead this vet to get some resources?
Asman, absolutely. Denise, we actually have a team located in Houston, and Combined Arms is one of our partners out there. So you definitely reach out to me at smorgan@woundedwarriorproject.org. I can get you connected with the Houston team. We've got lots of stuff going on down there. We actually, right before we kind of closed stuff down again due to the pandemic, I just did a community service event out there with some horses. So we do have events going on, and would love to get you out and connected with the Warrior Project.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Also, in addition to that, if you're looking for resources to do family counseling, family therapy, or individual counseling, Endeavors can provide that through our Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinics for you and your niece and your family.
Okay, great. One of our other questions comes about looking for more resources within Northeast Texas. There seems to be a lot more resources in other areas in Texas, and they're trying to see if there's anything that you would recommend, resources that they can find in the Northeast region of Texas. Does anything come to mind here? Maybe Sean, or if you have any resources that would help with the Northeast region. Anybody else have a response for this one?
So Yasmin, once again, our Houston team covers that area. I would love to have this individual reach out to us as well at my email address. We do have some peer support groups that meet in Shreveport and in the Lafayette area. So depending on where they're located at, they might be able to join us for some of our Louisiana events that we host out there as well.
Okay, great. I think that's awesome. So one of our other questions comes, I know there are a lot of veteran and caregiver resources. What resources are there to help children of veterans and those, like Nalita mentioned, that are experiencing some of that secondary PTSD? There's a lot of issues that come with children. Are there any initiatives that the Wounded Warrior Project or any of the other organizations here that are helping children? Sean, is there anything with the Wounded Warrior Project or anything from Endeavors on that side? Because from us on the Elizabeth Dole Foundation side, we are working on, putting together what we can help military children and what that looks like. So there is something to come on our end of those resources. But Olga, we can connect you with our policy expert who can also connect you to resources for that as well. And if anybody else has any suggestions, feel free to jump in. But if not, we're gonna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I do. So through the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinics, we also provide mental health care for children, and typically it's ages 5 and above. So we do individual counseling for children, and also they're part of our family counseling evidence-based programs. So we do have a focus in also taking care and providing services for children and youth.
Okay, perfect, great.
And Yasmin, we do refer a lot of our stuff that we can't provide when it comes to the counseling to Endeavors, and they do a great job. And there's another organization called Clarity, CLARITY, out of San Antonio, that provides counseling as well for younger individuals.
Okay, great. Wonderful. And then another question for Endeavors here. Where is the Veteran Wellness Center going to be located?
It's going to be the main Veteran Wellness Center is going to be in San Antonio, Texas. That's when we're going to have the first one, our grand opening in the spring of next year. But we're also looking into possibly doing something similar here in El Paso, Texas as well.
Okay, great. So that's great. So I'm going to go with the last question here, and this is going to be more county focused. What options are there for military and veteran caregivers who are having trouble reaching their county VSOs and their county resources? I know from the Elizabeth Dole Foundation perspective, now when we send out our information, we're happy to help be that intermediary to reach out to the county. But any advice that you have for those that are having difficulty reaching their county VSOs? Oh, Carl, you're muted, so I'm gonna make sure you're unmute right now. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, so what I would say, again, just about every county has a VCSO. I've got the Texas Veteran Commission's directory of county VCSOs sitting here in front of me. So that's the first thing I would do is say, go to the tech, you can just Google it, Texas Veterans County Services officers, and that will bring you up the directory of all the county service officers. Also, we have what's called here in Texas, the Veterans County Service Officers Association. I just happen to be the Northwest Texas director. So you can reach out to myself, the president, Sal Castillo, and I can provide my email address, the president's email address. And if you're having a hard time getting in touch with your point of contact, we can reach out and through our network and get you connected to those veterans service organizations. So please just reach out and we'll do everything we can to connect you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Well, I know we're over time here and I want to be cognizant of that. So we're going to go ahead and close out here. Just a reminder, any of these questions that you have, any additional ones that you have for any of our panelists that were able to speak today, we'll be sending out their contact information as well. So you're able to reach out to them directly with all these wonderful resources that were discussed here today. I really want to thank all of our speakers for being here. We've never done a state-focused C3 episode, and this was a really great opportunity for us to really hone in on the supports that are happening within Texas. We appreciate each of you for being here and taking the time to speak to our community. We're getting a ton of views on our Facebook Live through our Caregiver Community page that are really interested in reaching out to you all. So thank each of you for being here and committed to our hidden heroes, our military and veteran caregivers. Thank you all so much. We also encourage everybody from today's webinar session to join our Facebook group, the Hidden Heroes Caregiver Community Connection, Validation, Understanding, Support, and Resource Sharing. That's what we use HHCC for. That's what it's all about. So we will send more information on how to register on our hiddenheroes.org website, how to be part of this community as we put all these C3s Facebook Live through that community as well. And then be on a follow-up for that follow-up email that I'll be sending out to you tomorrow morning. I'll make sure to send you all the information, all the great resources and contacts from everybody you heard from here today. I hope that each one of you found this session informative, inspirational, realizing that there's so much out there for you. A huge thanks to our partners at the Wounded Warrior Project and the U.S. Department of Affairs for making this happen. Continue to stay in touch with our community. In our next C3 episode, we have another one coming up next week. So go to hiddenheroes.org/C3. And you'll see that we have a lot more educational, informational, engaging content coming your way. So thank you all for joining today. Again, thank you to our speakers and all the military and veteran caregivers that are watching through Facebook Live. Thank you all for being here. And just remember, you're not alone, and we're always here for you. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you, speakers.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. Bye, guys. Thank you.